y'all, today I'm here with my roommates Erin and Sarah, and we are going to be playing the Judge a Book by its Cover game / challenge. Basically, I am going to be showing them 10 books. They're just allowed to look at the cover, just the front of it, not the back, and they are each going to tell me individually, one at a time, what they think the book is about. And the person who is closest to correct gets the point. And obviously whoever has the most points at the end wins. So the first book is Across the Universe by Beth Revis, and we're gonna go back and forth as to who gets to guess first.
Two people are in love by the kissing faces on the cover. And they are separated by light years of space. And the guy is an astronaut, and he's like, I'm gonna go explore space, even though NASA has been, like, space exploration for humans has been, like, nixed, which is wrong. And then and then politics, and then this girl is on planet X, a new planet, and then they fall in love. And it's a cross-universe tale, but he has to go back. But when he goes
fall
back,
in love after she's on the planet?
No, she's already on the planet. She's an alien. And then he
Okay.
goes and he finds her. And then after that, he has to go back, and time has changed, and he goes back to a new world, and it's empty and lost without her. End of book.
She's really getting
End of book.
So it's a whole, we're in a different galaxy where there's planets that we didn't even know existed. And this happens way, way in the future, so there's way more planets now. And these two lovely individuals that are on the cover, let's say that they're lovers, we don't know that yet. They are from different worlds. And there's this, not World War, that doesn't make sense. There's this battle between planets going on. And they have to pick whether they have to fight against each other or if they rebel against their respective worlds and just run off to a different planet.
Okay, so you both have elements that are correct. And I'm trying, like, you're both far enough off that I'm struggling to pick a winner.
Does it matter?
I'm going to give the point to Sarah.
Yeah.
Let me explain this novel. Basically, this book is about a girl named Amy who is cryogenically frozen.
Nope.
So, wait.
You had
Yeah, it's obvious by the cover.
Wait. Okay, so basically, this is about a girl who is cryogenically frozen with her parents to travel to a new planet that has, well, that her parents are very high up, like, military individuals, and that's why they are being sent to the planet, and she can go with them because she's their daughter. However, she is woken up early for some reason, like 50 years before she's supposed to, and there is a romance between her and the guy on the ship. So you were kind of right about the guy from a different world.
Okay.
There are also some things that Sarah was slightly more right on than you that I don't want to talk about because of spoilers. But yeah, you were both fairly good because there is a romance and it does take place in space, but that's kind of obvious from the cover. However, point goes to Sarah, but only slightly. So the second book is All American Girl by Meg Cabot, which is one of my all-time favorites.
Okay.
But I have not talked to either of them about what the plot is.
So obviously it's about this young girl. Let's say she's probably in middle school age. I'm not going to give an actual age. And there's this big project. She wants to invent something, but all her family's against her and her friends are against her, but she conquers all and she wins this giant competition.
I think, if I'm not wrong, this is or Chasing Liberty was a ripoff of this book or something, where she's the daughter of the president and she falls in love with someone and the president's ticked off and she's sad. and then they end up together.
Okay, this one's a little bit more clear of a winner. However, it's still not that close to being right. I'm sorry, Erin, but the point goes to Sarah,
it's okay.
because this book is about a girl named Sam who likes art, and she is forced to go to this art class by her parents because lots of reasons. However, what happens is that one day when she's trying to skip her art class, someone tries to assassinate the president in front of her, and she saves the president's life.
And
and
that's intense.
And there is a romance with the president's son. This book is amazing, and it's very underrated, and I love it, and I've read it like 20 times. So the next one is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is a booktube fave. Most people watching this video will have read this book or will know what this book is. I'm going to make this easier for each of you. When you start guessing, try to figure out what genre you think it is.
Okay,
I
I
already
think
have
it's a
an idea.
fantasy book.
Okay, it's fantasy.
Okay, it's a book, a fantasy book. And it's about people who become angels through various good works. And when they become angels, they are charged with helping other people. However, wait, it gets better.
It gets better!
It's got plot twist. One of the angels goes horribly bad, and he corrupts people. And there's this huge war at the end, and there's this whole idea of like, is the accepted ideology like for real, legit, or is this guy like good? Because there are no reliable narrators, and so eventually we end up at this like standoff.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess it's kind of in this dystopian universe.
Okay.
Because I know you like dystopian and utopian kind of books, and I feel like it's kind of got this like it's this steampunk kind of world where it's very like everything's very mechanical and looks very rustic and whatnot. And let's throw time travel into the mix. Why not? There's this character, the male on the front of the book. Maybe, who knows?
The male on the front of the book is a very big YouTube fave, so say nice things about him.
I am.
To me, he's cute.
He is. He's very mysterious looking. And he travels back from, let's say, our time. So from the 21st century and into this. I'm big into the alternate universes. I don't know why, but travels in time to this steampunky world, and he has to try to figure out how to navigate this world. But plot twist, he meets his like future grandchild, and who is not a very good character, and he has to debate between, does he help this person or does he rebel against this person, this great grandchild?
Okay, so I have decided to give each of you half a point. Because
that was very generous of you.
Because Sarah got some aspects in general correct, and Erin got some oddly specific aspects correct.
Is the steampunk thing correct?
Yes, the steampunk
that was
thing
a very
is correct.
Good guess.
So you guys know about the Mortal Instrument series, correct? How it's fantasy and it's demon killing. It's the same author. This is basically the same concept. However, it takes place in England in the 1800s, and it's very steampunky. So book number 4 is The Body Electric by Beth Revis.
Oh, it's from a series that we already talked about.
It is not. It is by the same author.
Okay. So
yeah,
it might be the same
I was
realm.
going to give you guys that hint if you did not figure it out already.
Yeah,
It is by the same author as someone we've already discussed.
Okay, I'm gonna guess probably like a sci-fi fantasy type genre, and I'm guessing it's this one world, but there's all these different races of people that possess different powers, and I'm kind of gathering that from like the very nature-y type aspect, and the fact that it talks about this body in the title. Oh, and let's say the main character is this female, and she possesses this one like really unique power that no one else has, and she's like very much fixated upon because she has this really great ability. And there's people trying to constantly, there's some that are people that are on her side that are trying to protect her, but there's also people that try to want to harness her power and then kill her.
Sarah, your turn.
Easy. Historical fiction about electroshock therapy and how they shocked women into submission. Done.
Erin gets the point.
I'm done.
Okay, so this is a dystopian sci-fi that takes place several years in the future, and there is a girl who she doesn't have a special power per se, but she has a special technology that allows her to do things that other people cannot. And she does have people trying to protect her. and she does have people who are after her. So you are actually the closest that I think anyone has been to getting one of these right. So book number 5 is Lock and Key, Welcome to Lovecraft by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez.
It's about a person who is wrongfully accused of a crime, who escaped jail, and is being chased after by detectives.
So you're saying it is a crime novel?
Yes.
I'm gonna guess it's more in the horror genre, and it's like this very mysterious house with all these hidden secrets. Let's just say it's this young man who like is dared to go into this house by his friends, and he gets trapped inside the house, and the only way that he can escape is if he solves the mystery of the house.
Erin gets the point. It is, first of all, Joe Hill, for those of you who don't know, is Stephen King's son.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
This is a horror graphic novel series. The kid is not dared to go into the house. It's the house he lives in. After an event in the family, this boy and his family moves back to their family's like old estate. And basically at this house, there are these special keys that have these weird like things that they can do in the house. So book number 6 is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline.
Oh, you've told me about
which
it.
is one of my absolute favorites.
I'm gonna guess it's a dystopian type book. It's not a competition each year, but there's a set of tests for children like between a certain age. Let's say the age is between like 10 and 18. I'm spitballing in that range, and they have to complete a series of tests each year in order to continue living in their community.
Okay, it is dystopian. I agree with that.
Okay,
I
somehow.
think that it is Orwell-esque in the sense that Big Brother is watching and Big Brother is involved. So, not, you know what I mean? The government is involved somehow with the scheme. And Player One is unfortunately caught up in this scheme. Somehow. And I don't know how. But there are multiple players because he's Player One or she's Player One. Let's not be sexist. And Player One, I don't know, it's like a Triwizard tournament situation slash Hunger Games situation.
Yeah,
in which all of them kill each other eventually, and they're trying to complete tasks. I'm going for a very Hunger Games thing. But what if Player One is secretly a mole and he's part of the government's plan?
So now you're going with
what
the
if
TV
they're
show.
controlling him? The Imperious Curse.
I think I'm gonna give the point to Sarah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Basically, you are both right. This is a dystopian novel. However, everything else that you threw out was pretty far off. So some of hers was kind of close-ish. So I decided to give it to her.
Okay.
It is a dystopian. It's set like 50-ish years in the future. And there is this game that has been created that is basically a virtual reality. Ooh. And anyone who is able to be within this virtual reality basically wants to be in it all the time. And the creator of this virtual reality died a few years back, and when he died, he set a challenge for all of the people who use this game. And basically, it's whoever can figure out, find the Easter egg within the game and figure out all of his little secrets within the game wins basically all of his fortune. And because this is such an important big game, it is like a huge deal, and everyone has been trying to win this money for years and years. And the reason that I gave it to Sarah is because there is a big company that basically kind of runs the country, and they kind of get involved with the novel. Book number 7 is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss.
So I would say The Name of the Wind is a fantasy novel. The cover just looks very fantasy, like low budge,
the cloaked figure,
filtered picture. Sorry if you like this book.
99% of people like this book. It has a 4.5 rating on Goodreads, which is very rare.
Okay.
I like the title. There is a girl who feels lost and confused. She sets out on a quest, and it's one of those self-discovery / she needs to find something quests. And she has to find, I don't know, a dead family. Nope, she doesn't have to find someone who's dead. That would be dumb. She has to find a long-lost family member who holds the secret to life. And one of the secrets that he eventually teaches her when she gets there is the name of the wind.
I'm gonna go with a fantasy
Okay.
genre. And it's about this exiled wizard. He's done something terrible. He's broken some kind of, broken the creed of wizards. I don't know. And the only way that he can redeem himself.
He broke in the wizard's creed. Sorry.
He did an unforgivable curse.
The only way that he can redeem himself is if he finds this mysterious person hidden in an underground cave, and this person in this underground cave will be able to, is the only one that can redeem him for whatever he's done.
I am going to give each of you half a point.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I couldn't not award points to either of you, so I'm going to give you each half a point.
Okay.
This is a fantasy novel. It is the first in 3 books. Basically, this very well-known magician, sorcerer, is basically telling his life story to a chronicler, and this is the first day that he's telling the story. So this is what he tells the guy the first day.
You totally told me this
and
before.
well, then why didn't you get it? You said it was a girl. Basically, this one is about him from the young age when he is in the traveling, not the traveling circus, but traveling with a band of performers until he is then in the wizard school. It's not called magic in this book. So book number 8 is The Bone Season, another fave of mine.
I'm gonna go with the fantasy type genre. I could probably be totally off. I'm gonna go for a very maybe Avatar-like-esque premise.
Okay.
So there's all these different kind of tribes all over the world, and whichever tribe is represented by this insignia at the top is the one that is talked about mainly in the book. And the world goes through all these different seasons where certain things have been foreshadowed to happen or predicted to happen. And this is the most, this is the season that is most dreaded, where they either fizzle out completely or they end up surviving based on whatever supernatural events occur.
Sarah.
Okay, the Bone Season is akin to Stravinsky's Rite of Spring in the sense that it is neo-primitivism. So, like Erin, the sundial on the cover represents how people of past times
I feel like we're so far off.
have looked at time. However, it is set in a new world, kind of like an Avatar situation. There is a people who use sundials, and they... I'm telling you, if this cover art leads me astray, the person who did this is going to get a strongly worded letter. They are tribes that at a certain point in the calendar year bury bodies because of the dead. So they, in this bone season, is what they call, the bone season is what they call when they bury people. So this is the bone season, and they're burying people when these new people come, and typical to sort of conquering people, they desecrate the graves, take the bones, and decide to study them, and say that these people's bones are different than everybody else's because they're racist scientists, akin to racist scientists at the turn of the century. And then the bones come alive, and the scientists all die. And then the native people take over. It's like a reverse master narrative.
This is so intricate.
Okay.
Sorry.
Honestly, I don't want to give either of you a
Yeah,
point.
I have a feeling.
But I'm just going to give you both half a point because you're both so far off. So this is a fantasy dystopian.
Deserves something.
Set in London, partially.
All right.
And
Woo!
yeah.
Woo!
Doing well.
And basically, the main character is a girl named Paige. Paige is clairvoyant, which means, so there are different types of clairvoyance, and she is one of the rarest forms of clairvoyance. And she works within the like underground of like the gang, like the, how do I put this, the clairvoyant gangs of London. She works in one of the gangs, and because it's a dystopian, because basically Scion, which is this emblem up here, the government is basically 100% against clairvoyance. They're called unnaturals, and basically if you're a clairvoyant, you're breaking the law just by being alive. And the bone season is referencing they take clairvoyant, like they will take clairvoyants captive when they discover one, and they get sent to this place, and they get a certain group of them gets sent to this place every 10 years, and that is the bone season when they get sent there. So book number 9 is The Diviners by Libba Bray.
Akin to many other Libba Bray books, this is a fiction book, a fantasy.
I was like, a fiction novel? Okay.
This is
You're gonna have to be a little bit more
this
specific.
happened in real life. It is about the Illuminati, because it has an eye on it. It is about people who can see the future because they're diviners, and there's a girl who is a seer, and she sees a world that has been destroyed by human greed, and she doesn't want that, so she's like, I'm gonna go mess some people up so that the world doesn't become like this. So naturally she teams up with a lot of criminals / other diviners who have seen the same thing, and they go kick some butt, and she saves the world from these terrible people.
So I'm also going to say it's going to be in the fantasy realm.
Okay.
And it's going to be about this cult. It's kind of like underground secret cult of people with these supernatural abilities. And so within this cult, you have this brother and this sister. And unfortunately, this brother has been taken captive because the government has gotten wind of these diviners. And so it's about her journey and trying to navigate how to find him and save him and bring him back to safety. Actually, no, not bring him back to safety. They have to escape and go live in a new place.
I'm giving you each half a point. I'm sorry, like
That was really off.
I was hoping that you would take some of the things you said a little bit further in order to push you toward a point, but you didn't. And so this is a historical fiction paranormal novel. So it's kind of fantasy, but more paranormal. Basically, it's set in the 1920s, and this girl named Evie has a special ability. And there are a lot of people in New York City who have these very random special abilities. It's not like, you know, like super strength or like it's like really random abilities, and they are called diviners. And it's pretty far off from what both of you said, but you each had like small elements that were kind of similar. So last and certainly not least is the first book in one of my absolute favorite series of all time, and that is Pendragon, the Merchant of Death, which is the first book in the Pendragon series.
I'm going to guess it's, again, a fantasy type dealio.
Okay.
And it's about this, this average boy who's just a normal boy, growing up, living his life, normal all-American boy. But then one day, he is walking under this bridge go back to his home. And he sees this door that's never been there before. Or he somehow happens upon this other world. He goes through this door, and it turns out he has been like this chosen one that everyone's been, like the people in this fantasy world have been searching for. And he meets this, let's say what is going to become his mentor. And okay, so this young boy has to choose whether he wants to be a part of this world or if he wants to go back to his normal world, and he ultimately makes the sacrifice that he is going to be taken under this person's wing and trained as some kind of wizard.
Okay.
I've just realized how Harry Potter is.
I think it's similar to Harry Potter. He is a boy wizard. I don't know how he becomes a boy wizard. He's born with it. I don't know. It's in his blood. And the Merchant of Death is...
Oh, yeah, I really did not include anything about that.
There's a guy that is selling immortality.
Ooh,
And
I like this.
Pendragon is like, no, don't do that. Die. And then people
Die.
are like, you're the Merchant of Death. And he's like, no, that guy's the Merchant of Death because he's like made a deal with the devil. Like a little Faust, a little bit of a Faust situation. And people hate Pendragon, but then he's like, no, I'm super cool and I can do magic. And then he does magic and defeats the Merchant of Death, the real Merchant of Death, not the Pendragon Merchant of Death. And he also becomes a man, because I feel like in every young adult novel, the boy becomes a man.
He becomes a man by the end of this book when there's 10 books in the series.
No, he becomes a man at book 10.
So it looks like we're going to have a tiebreaker round because this definitely goes to Erin. Okay, so basically, this series is about a boy named Bobby Pendragon, who is a very average boy. He's a popular guy in school. He plays basketball. He's like the all-American guy. And one day he's not walking along and he comes across the door. His uncle comes and tells him, these people need help, I need you to come with me.
Okay.
And his uncle takes him to the door, and they go through this door to an alternate world. However, and he is basically like, his uncle is the head traveler, and he is, as in like the head person who like goes around and helps people in different territories. And, basically, Bobby has to help him help these people. And that is kind of how the series continues, as he goes to different worlds, and which are called territories in the series, and he has to help the people on that territory. So it's not that he needs to become a part of that territory, but he has to help them. Okay, so as a tiebreaker, I am going to have them guess what Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell is about.
Fangirl is about, it is a fiction book, but I don't know if it's fantasy.
Okay.
So, like, fiction, general. A girl who is obsessed with a boy band. And she hangs out with them, and...
With the boy band?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of like...
Wow.
Dance.
Groupie.
It's kind of like an Almost Famous situation, where she slowly gets jaded about fame and about people. And then she's like Penny Lane, and like Penny Lane gets sick or something. I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in a while. Anyway, she gets like sick and like tired of being a fangirl, and she realizes that obsession is dangerous mentally and physically. And so it's also a morality tale.
About this girl who is obsessed with this, like, let's just say, with this boy band. Let's just go keep on that train. And she is like a super fan. She runs a bunch of websites. She writes fan fictions about them. She goes to any concert that she can afford to go to. She is so obsessed in it that like this obsession like takes her over. But there's this young male character who's kind of like the superficial jock type dude in her high school, and you know, someone that she would never go for. Totally the opposite of like the boy band that she's obsessed with. But somehow he ends up having a heart of gold somewhere deep down and was able to bring her out of this obsession and realize that there's more to life than just this boy band.
I'm going to explain the book, and then I'm going to tell you who wins, although I have a feeling that when I explain it, it's going to become a little bit more clear.
Probably.
So this book is about a girl who goes off to college, and she has a twin sister, and she's very introverted, and her twin sister decides not to live with her, and so she's kind of on her own. And for many, many years, she and her sister have been obsessed with this book series that is modeled after Harry Potter. However, Harry Potter exists in this world, but like it's this series that she's obsessed with is also modeled after Harry Potter. It's kind of weird.
That she has poor taste.
And she and she writes fan fiction about this book series, and it's also a bit of a romance because she ends up falling for a guy that she meets at school. So I think by this point it's kind of obvious that Erin has won. By a margin of 1, Erin has won.
I'll take it.
So I also filmed another video with these two earlier where, what did we even do with that? Oh, we saw how well they knew me. That's how long ago it was. We've been filming this for about an hour now. So I'll leave a link down in the description to that one if you want to check it out. As always, I will also leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!